Today's episode of the Influencer Empires podcast is brought to you by the Empire Program with White Label Suite, powering our influencers and building their empires. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Today, we have a show for you. And I don't mean any simple show. I mean the queen of shows. I'm talking Broadway musicals. I'm talking cruise boats, entertainers turned influencer AI specialist. She is full of sparkle. She is unapologetically awesome. She is full of joy, and she now influences tens of thousands of people every time she speaks, with thousands of people following her every move on YouTube, with 20,000 plus over Facebook, with 20 plus thousand on Instagram, thousands across LinkedIn. When she speaks, people listen. She is a keynote speaker on AI. She is one of the world's leading voices in AI technology, and she is nothing short of amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Molly Mahoney. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, I am so grateful to be here. I love it. Thanks.
It's so great to have you here. Now, it's amazing to me that the people that we've had on the show, one of the questions we ask them is, who influences you? And these influencers have dropped your name as somebody that they listen to, somebody that's leading the charge. As I'm going back through your story, you started as a performer, you've stood on stages, you've sung, and I think you've sung at the White House, is that right?
No, maybe I have sung at the White House restaurant in Anaheim.
That's a nice one. I sung at the White House in small font.
I did a full one-woman show at the White House restaurant in Anaheim with a 13-piece big band. It was a pretty awesome show.
I love that. And jazz hands are part of your history. As I'm going back through, you started as a performer, you got into social media management, then you launched the AI world.
Wait,
that you're so
I have to just stop you. So
please.
Because I told you I didn't want to talk about this, but I did once sing with a vice president. So vice president, not the current vice president of the United States. I'm not going to say which vice president, but I did once do that. Okay, go on.
If you tell me that it's the vice president of your local golf club, I'll be sorely disappointed.
Okay, continue. I just thought it was really funny that is
the real VP. So your current businesses, you own. So since 2013, you've been running the Prepared Performer, which is a business lead generation specialist agency helping companies create more content and get that out there on the net. You've also just recently, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now, created the AI Content Club. So AI content before it was cool, and you've just launched the Multiply system as well. You've become a voice, Molly. How did that happen?
It was just overnight. It was like, I'm just kidding.
Right. I was going to say that just goes all my strategies right out the window right there.
You know, there's so many things that play into it. And I really like when you talk about the idea of being a quote unquote influencer, we all have the ability to have influence over others at any given moment. So yeah. Over ourselves, over the people that we're, speaking to, adults that we're speaking to, kids that we're speaking to, whatever it is, we all have the ability to take on that ownership of influence. And it's not something that I treat lightly. It's something that I really honor. And I am, I was ending our content club call today and I'm like moved to tears at the end of our call because I'm so grateful that these people who I love show up on these calls for me to be able to help guide them through one little part of their lives.
Yeah.
And when I look back on it, it really did start like in junior high when I first ran for student government and I sang Good Golly, Miss Molly in a red, white, and blue suit and lost. So it starts back then. And then as I look at the journey, there's so many little moments along the way where I've been given an opportunity to lead or I've been given an opportunity to share my voice. And I've had the courage to show up and put my message out there, to put my story out there, the courage to help others, the courage to ask people if they need support. And there's so many little pieces in the journey that make it all complete. But it's been a pretty fun adventure.
I love it. When we say those numbers to you, 25,000 people listen to you on this particular platform, 28,000 people are following you on that particular platform. When we say those numbers to you, how does it make you feel to stand as yourself? Because you are truly unapologetically you. How does it feel to stand as yourself and to have that kind of influence with people listening to you across the world?
So I think the numbers are so weird, to be totally honest. And I don't know how you feel about this, but we give those types of numbers such weight.
Yeah.
And, we just, as you mentioned, because you're like on top of it, we just launched this multiply program, and it's a higher level coaching for business owners who are wanting to weave AI into their business and really show up online. And we just hit our 30th new member in the past 2 weeks, which was my stretch goal for bringing people in. And to me, I look at the fact that we had 30 people join this high level group coaching mastermind program. The number of those 30 people almost feels more impactful than the number of the 28,000. And what's
Right.
really weird about it is that when I look at, I think that 28,000 is like around what we have on Instagram. When I hear that number on Instagram, this is really bad, but I'm going to say this out loud. I think like, oh, that's not enough. Like that, I think that people are going to think like, oh, she's not really an influencer because she only has 28,000 followers,
You're a
which is
mom.
so
You've got an eighth grader. You're an
stupid.
influencer of one, and that's the most important job of all. So I'm gonna like reinforce you there. Like
Yeah, I mean, but
you're
I think it's important for us to admit that these things come up for us. Like we
yeah,
had a video, and I don't know if you know the story, but we had a video hit a reach of 39 million,
saw that.
and it gave me so much anxiety because
Really?
like when we have those things that go a little viral, like I prefer to be I'm so grateful that we have the followers that we have on Instagram and Facebook. And I don't focus as much on YouTube as of late, but the YouTube followers that we have and all of that, like I'm grateful more than anything for the community,
Yeah.
because I recognize that there are real human beings that I truly can say I love you to, like our friend Jane Slacksmith, who
Mm.
can't believe I've never met in person, because we've
Oh
been
wow.
close to each other's side of the world several times and just barely missed each other. But I have
Jane,
people
if
in
you're
our
listening, book a
community.
flight, by the way.
What'd you say?
Jane, if you're listening, book a flight, by the
Book a
way.
flight. Hello.
Book a flight.
Jane was out
Come
in
on.
California. I was over in Sydney. We just missed each other. But I think that it's such an honor, and it's
Mm.
so amazing to know that we are able to really have these like personal relationships
Yeah.
with people en masse because of this technology, and because we have the courage to share our story, and for those of us that are confident enough to actually show up as our true authentic self. It's been a really uh fun, scary, awesome, freeing journey.
I love that. So you're well known for helping business owners turn up as their authentic self. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what you're helping them to do as you're creating that. Do you feel that do you feel that everybody has a message worth sharing? Do you feel that anyone can build a following, Molly?
I do. I think that everyone has a story. I think that everyone has a lesson that they can bring to the table. I think that some people, it may need to be kind of coaxed out of them, you know? But I think that everyone on the other side wants to know that they're not alone. And when we show up and share our truth, when we show up and share our insight, when we show up and share our spin on things, and like I like to say, when we find the things that make us weird and we share our weird, there is a community of people who want to know that there's someone else who has a little bit of the same blend of weird.
Yeah. And it's the weird that makes you unique, and it's the weird
Yeah,
that
your
creates
weird
the
is your superpower.
yeah, absolutely. So speaking of superpower, you in the last few years, since before it was cool, you were all over AI, and now you are one of the queens of AI and helping business owners use AI to create content, create their messages going out. How did this land on your doorstep?
Yeah, man. My really good friend Jamie Harmon O'Connor, I never know which is her married and which is her maiden name, but she messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Oh my gosh, have you tried this tool called conversion.ai?" Did you know about
Yeah, yeah,
conversion.ai? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, what a cool, no, I don't know what it is." And I used it and I was like, "This is insane." And then, so if you're listening and you're not familiar with this tool, it's now known as Jasper. It was called Jarvis for a little while and they had to change the name, but it initially was called conversion.ai. And I used it and I was like, this is so wild. And my favorite thing to do when new tools come out that I love is I recognize the fact that the person behind the tool is a person. So I find the human and I message them. I send them like a regular message without being a creeper. I just say something like, "Oh my gosh, I just used your tool. It's so amazing. I just want to thank you for creating it." And then oftentimes people will write back and say thank you. And then I usually, and this is really how we got started in AI, but this is also the exact process that I've gone through over the years that has helped me to be able to gain more of the larger community numbers that we have. So I'll find a software founder, and a software that I love. I'll message them as a human. Sometimes I just reply to the support emails and I say like, "Wow, this has been so awesome. Thank you. And would you be interested in doing an interview? I'd love to share you with our community."
Nice.
And that allows me to have a relationship with them. It allows
Amazing.
me to give them more reach. Even if you don't have a humongous following, you're creating content about them in the world, which is what they want and need to send eyeballs back to their products. And with Jasper, it ended up, I messaged Dave. Dave replied like a kind human. We had some friends in common. I said, "Hey, I would love to have you on for an interview." Who came and did an interview. And then from there, I ended up doing trainings in their community too. And I loved it so much. And I realized that as a human, these AI tools feel a little scary. And a lot of people were getting really bad results. And what I realized was, we need to be able to dance with this AI. We need to be able to play with the AI. And if I can help people to come at this from a play first point of view, we
Yeah.
talk about being AI first. I'm really
Yeah.
leaning
Play
into being
first.
like play
Play spelled with
first,
AI.
right?
PLAI. Play first.
And so we created a community called Dancing with Jarvis. The whole thing was very silly. And it was actually, I don't always admit this, but it was free for anyone who bought Jarvis through my affiliate link. So
Nice.
if they proved that they had bought through my affiliate link, it was free. And then now, over the years, it was like the price has gone up a little by little. It's $97 a month now. And we changed the name because Jarvis changed their name to Jasper. And I was like, "Don't name your programs off of someone else's tool." So now we don't even use Jasper. It's like, what are you doing? So it's called the AI Content Club now, but it started back in 2021. And I do think that it was the first AI content membership for entrepreneurs, which is really cool.
20.4 thousand members of the AI Content Club right now.
No, where are you
How
looking?
good? How good is that? Amazing. So,
Wait, where are you
Molly,
looking? Those are not our numbers. That's someone else's AI Content Club.
oh, really? Okay, that might actually just be your main Facebook page. It is. It's your main Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Which,
yeah.
by the
Which
way,
says,
840 people are talking about right now, which is really
"Oh,
super
that
cool as
is,
well.
I like that."
Isn't that amazing? So, Molly, what I've always found fascinating about people who are creating influence and creating content that drives tribes and audiences is the work that it takes to make that happen. What does a daily life or a day or a week in the life of Molly Mahoney look like?
Man, so a day in the life. I start with my Peloton star tasks. So I am really good at working and I really love working. So I have to trick myself into working out. And so I do cardio while I do this thing called star tasks. And star
Okay.
tasks, it's something we've taught forever that people it's really like unlocking the algorithm. And so while I'm riding my bike, I will do my star tasks at the same time, which, like I said, I'm tricking myself into working
She's
out.
like, I'm not working out. I'm working. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working
The body's celebrating.
out.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
working out.
Yeah. Yeah, but not every, I don't do that every day, but I do that quite often. And then I've got a whole thing with like different like morning routine stuff that I do, which really starts with the first step of the star tasks
Mhm.
is setting your intention. So being really clear about what it is that you want to create in the world, what it is that you want to create on this day. And then we actually made an AI app that tracks this for you. And now that I know that my community is going to see that I'm tracking these things, I'm also like what's called an obliger, which means if I know I'm doing this for someone else, I'm going to be better at doing it.
I
And
love it.
so
You created your own accountability.
I did. So it's been really awesome. And then, we have 3 different memberships. So we have coaching calls throughout the week. We have a handful of private clients as well,
Mm.
and an awesome team. We have a team of 11 amazing humans and creating content, having fun. And I've added this new thing to my calendar. It's really kind of cool. I started it maybe 5 years ago. I have a section on my calendar. It used to only be one day. It's now 3 days. It says learn or create magic. And it's a huge chunk of time on my calendar that is, yeah, exactly. Exactly like the sign on your wall. You have magic in you. That's exactly what it's for. So that's been a really cool gift for myself that I know I can go on my calendar 2 years from now and 3 days a week in the afternoon, I've got these big chunks of time that say learn or create magic, which has been awesome.
So it's amazing. So it's a clean cycle. It's learn and create. It's not just speak for the sake of speaking. It's learn and then create. And from a cadence point of view, like I think we all as wannabe influencers, as people who want to grow our brands and our audiences, it is that public content creation that forms the base of what we do. How much of the time is spent creating public content, and how much of the time is spent behind the scenes, either learning it or preparing it or editing it or doing the behind the scenes work? So the front of house versus back of house kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a really cool question. And I have this umbrella theory where I try to do as much project stacking as possible.
Mm,
So I think it's something that served us really well that I learn out loud. So when
nice.
I'm learning things, I'm also sharing. I love when someone asks a question that I don't really know the answer to, I figure it out in the moment. Right.
Perfect. Nice.
So that's a really big piece. And then I don't actually spend all that much time anymore on the back end. Um, with the editing and that kind of stuff because we've got AI tools that help us so much with that. I have
Mm.
team members that help me so much with that. So I do spend some time on it, but not very much.
So you create, give to the team curates and publishes,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's the way it works.
yeah.
So
Or I mean I do a lot of my videos I'm doing right inside Instagram, which takes just a few
mm,
seconds to add the captions, a few minutes, like let's say, I don't know, 10 minutes tops to add everything on top of it. And then that is set up to automatically be published across all different platforms. So it makes it super
interesting.
easy.
Do you know, it's amazing to think that that is what we see. And of course, there's so much that happens behind the scenes and the preparation, all that kind of stuff.
Well,
So one of your videos
wait, can I
went
just
to,
say one more thing on that?
yeah, please.
I know a lot of creators spend a lot of time making really beautifully edited videos. I like to lean into the sloppy. So I know for myself, a live video is so much easier. Like something like this is so much easier for me. My team knows if I have to do a pre-recorded long form video, it's going to take you a really long time to get it for me because that's the only time that my little perfectionism starts to take over. And I would much prefer to do something where I know that it's actually being broadcast in the moment than do something that I'm recording behind the scenes and have
Mm.
the chance that if I mess up, then I have to stop and redo it. I would rather know that if I mess up, I have to keep going. So that
So
I
you,
know
you
some people
struggled to
spend a
learn your
lot
lines
of
when you were
time.
acting. Is that what you're telling us, Molly?
Say that again. What?
You struggled to learn your lines when you were acting. You preferred the improv.
I mean, today, yeah. I also think like when I have done shows that to that point, like I don't know if do you know the musical Gypsy?
No.
Okay, my most favorite role of all time, and I live a very G-rated brand, so know that this is a G-rated role that I'm going to say right now. But my favorite role of all time is Electra the light bulb stripper because she comes out in the second act and all she does is sing this one song with a costume that lights up with buttons and it's amazing. That is like my jam. Is where you can come out,
I love
steal the
that. So
show, rock it
coming to an
out.
Instagram channel near you,
Yeah,
Molly, the light bulb
exactly.
stripper. Be fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Super cool. So you mentioned before, I just want to go back a little bit. You mentioned before you've had videos go viral. And
Yeah.
you actually mentioned that causes you anxiety, like 29 million views on a single video. That was insane. When we talked to Rachel Peterson, she said obviously her
Mhm.
goal is to get videos to go viral. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you might have
yeah.
to create 100 before one hits. But she said sometimes they go viral for good reasons and sometimes they go viral for bad reasons. And
Yeah.
she actually said in Rachel's episode, when that happens, she has to uninstall the app from her phone
Yep. I
because
don't
of
doubt it.
the kind of volume of eyeballs that are on you at that point in time. Have you experienced a similar sort of thing?
Yeah, so when we had that one video that hit 39 million, it was actually I did it intentionally because Facebook had announced that they were going to be paying us for reels.
Mm,
And I could see that all the reels on my Facebook account that were going viral were not high value, were not like really high quality. They were weird, either kind of gross videos or weird like prank videos. And so I went through my phone to find something that was like the weirdest video I had on my phone. And I found this video. I added a hook to the top of it. It started to take off about 2 weeks after I had posted it. And when I noticed it, I was like, what is happening with this video? And then it just kept getting more and more and more and more. I like, I could not stop myself from like looking back at the thing and then checking. And then every time I would check the numbers, it was like a million more, a million. Like when it first hit, I remember like 7 million. I thought that is actually insane. How is this happening? And I couldn't control my own like adrenaline that was coming from it. My whole family, everybody was like, what is it at now? Everybody was kind of watching this thing. Wow. And then people started getting into arguments in the chat. None of it was an attack on me, but they were arguing in the chat about what they saw in the video because the video was a really weird video of bugs in a bath bomb. Okay, so I had a bath bomb that had bugs in it and I put a funny hook on top of it. And so people were fighting in the chat. So I decided I'm going to go live and just play piano which I am not a good piano player, but I was like, I'm going to play piano and sing as a way to just bring my nervous system down. While I'm live, everyone in the chat is like, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? Like I couldn't get away from it. So the only other time that this has really happened for me has been around AI videos that people have been mad about. Like I had a video recently that had a really cute little AI image that I made and I animated it. And a bunch of, I think like young kind of emo artists somehow got this. I think they must have had a group chat that they were sharing it in. And I was brutally attacked about how I am trash. I should learn how to draw, all this kind of thing. And the irony of it is that I am such an advocate for the arts, you know? And that one at first I was like a little shaken up, but then it just ends up being funny. And I'm like, I could do a video that has 20 comments and brings in $100,000. I would much rather do that because that to me is where I'm making a real positive impact as opposed to these videos that hit this virality, but you don't really have control over who they're being seen by. And I don't know.
It's interesting. Like there's the definition or the difference between, let me say it this way, influence and impact. So that right now in Australia, there's a terrible, I guess, influence where people are stealing cars and going onto TikTok with stolen cars just for the views and the likes. And like you said, you get addicted to the whoa, a million, like that's the kind of addiction that's fueling that kind of negative behavior. But is that making impact? When we talked to one of our YouTube superstars, they were saying that prank videos and they might have 100 million views, but they're getting like $60 in ad revenue because nobody wants to sponsor that. Like nobody wants to be
and
the
that's
brand
the part that people don't. They don't talk about. And Rachel is a very, very dear friend from way back in the day when I was teaching singing lessons. She and I actually connected on Instagram because she put out a post on Instagram that said, hey, I'm looking to do blog swaps. Does anyone want to write on my blog? I'll write on yours. So Rachel and I have since like taken ourselves with Rachel Miller on like a mini retreat of our own. And she's one of my really dear friends. And we've talked a lot about that. And I have another friend, Adley. Do you know Adley?
No, I'd love to.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So there's an intro.
Yeah, I will figure that out. She is cuckoo and does the funniest videos, but they're all very specific, like prank, not necessarily pranks with hurting other people, but they're intentionally really funny videos. Now, when I am there, like talking to her in the moment, I am like zinger after zinger, whatever. I'm like funny, but when I have to do the forced funny thing like that, to your point earlier, I would much rather do an improv. Like I'd much rather do 5 hours of improv than have to come up with something really funny in one little moment like that. And that's just my
ladies and gentlemen, Molly Mahoney, 5, 6, 7, 8. No.
I know, right? Well, there we go. But that's like my own natural inclination. Now, there's someone else. I was speaking at Social Media Marketing World years ago, and I met someone who had a huge following. He was like one of the first people to go live on LinkedIn. And when I met him, we walked up to him. I had never met him before. My friend introduced me. He was holding a box of books. And my friend said, oh, this is my friend Molly. Like, I want you guys to meet. And he said, how you doing? And this poor human dropped his books on the ground and he said, I'm horrible. I just overdrafted my bank account getting these books out. There's all of these people who want me to do this signing on that. Twitter is shouting me out here. LinkedIn has shouting me out here. And I can't sell anything to save my life. Like, I do not know how to do it. And I think we have to be careful in getting caught up into the vanity metrics of things, which feel that like addictive fuel that happens there. And we can be making an impact that way. But if you aren't impacting your own bank account somehow, you're going to run out of steam. So I think
Mm.
there's another level of it as well that a lot of people don't actually talk about.
I think that's really fascinating because there is a massive difference between the vanity numbers and the sanity numbers, which is, the bank account
True.
rolling. And we've got a segment that I like to call the monetization minute, which, after you've built an audience, after you've got people following you, there's a thing as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, that you want to turn that into cash. And we just said, ad revenue is one way, sponsorship revenue is another way. You're obviously working with people in workshops and courses, and bringing people through, and teaching and coaching is your main form there. In terms of the audience that we're speaking to, the people who want to create those audiences, what are some of the ways that you feel they should be monetizing that audience?
Yeah, so I think, the first thing is your own products or services is a really great place to start. But then
Yeah.
I also think if you're not at a place where you feel that your numbers are quote unquote big enough to justify having someone sponsor your content, I would rethink that, because oftentimes you get someone to sponsor, then you have money to put ads behind it, right? So you can give more you can grow the following or the numbers at a more rapid pace because someone else is helping to fund the accelerated influence.
Yeah.
Another thing that has been so great for me is really leaning into affiliate marketing with the tools that you love. And just to highlight what we said earlier, like, yes, I made those connections with Jasper, which gave me that extra influence and the extra visibility, which I also did back with Be Live. Like back in the day, Be Live, the live streaming tool, which, a lot of people may not be aware of what that was. They ended up having me as their main host for all their shows, which they paid me to do, but that
Wow.
also gave me that extra visibility. So I
Yeah.
will MC, you know, being on someone else's platform like that, podcast episodes, different things like that can really help with that extra visibility. But the affiliate portion of it, I think people don't realize the opportunity goes so far beyond the revenue that you're bringing in.
Yeah.
There's a whole other way to, make that really impactful. I mean,
That's
and
it.
High Level has like such an amazing affiliate program. There's just so many tools that you can get connected with that way.
There's so many, and it's a great point actually. Like you're using tools anyway. Like we all are. We're
Yeah.
using Zoom right now. We've White Label Suite has its own tool. You guys have got your own tool, but we're using tools that people that you can speak about, and 90% of these tools have an affiliate program, and so you're using it anyway. You're generating a voice anyway. If they're sponsoring your show, you can create the audience connection with many, many, many more people as a result.
And people are searching for tutorials on those tools. Like our
Yeah.
Canva videos always do really well because people are searching for Canva tips, right? So by adding in a like once a week tool focus in your email or in your social media, it can be really helpful.
Nice. I love it. So, I mean, there's people out there, Molly, that have been putting out videos for, I've been doing it, Molly. I've been creating content, Molly, and nobody's listening to me, Molly. What are you saying to the guys that are creating on a regular basis, but feeling like they're walking through wet cement?
Okay. I have a really great tip for the wet cement walkers. What you do in your video is not even half as important as what you do around your video. So when you are creating a video, you're building a library of content. So often it's like, I'm going to put a video out there, someone's going to see it, and then I'm going to get 39 million views. It usually doesn't work that way. So we have a system for promoting your video before it actually happens.
Mm,
And then after you create the video and you put it out there, what are you doing to drive traffic back to the video? Most
nice.
people are doing nothing. But even my short form videos on Instagram, I will send an email that goes to my short form videos. I will do a post on Facebook that says, ooh, if I created a tutorial on how to batch create graphics in Canva, would you want it? People comment below and they say yes. I don't keep them on Facebook. I send them a message that takes them to Instagram.
Beautiful.
So I'm like consistently creating content that leads, it's like this really cool spiral effect where we call it your party bus. Your email is your party, your email list or your community on email is your party bus, and you're bringing them to all these different places and cycling them back in and then taking them back out to the party.
I love it. I love it. Is there, I think a lot of people listening would love to get hold of that. Molly, can somebody come and buy that from you? Is there a place where we can tap that in? And
you know what? You can make it even better because I have a whole AI marketing toolkit that I actually put together just for you.
Oh, wow. There you go. So
I know.
If you've got that link, like drop it right now. And
yes,
make sure it's in
I will grab it for you. Are you going to tell it to you out loud or just put it in the chat? I meant to.
Say it out loud. We'll put it in the chat. We'll make sure it's in the show notes and on our posts.
If you go to molly.live/IE, which is because that's your podcast, IE, right? So molly.live/IE will take you right to our full AI marketing toolkit. And it gives you the foundations for getting your brand voice and all that in place. But it also gives you a little hint of some of the things that we include in our little party bus strategy and all that.
So it's a really good place to start. Thank you so much. So that's molly.live/IE for influencer empires. molly.live/IE. Thank you. That's really, really cool. I think that a lot of people are going to get some serious value. I got value just from you telling me. So that's really cool. So we'll make sure that that's in the show notes as well. So it would be remiss of me as a podcast host with Molly Mahoney on the call to not talk about AI, what's happening in that space. You've given us an incredible insight into your world as an influencer and the responsibility you feel there and how to bring people into your world and build that community. But you're Molly Mahoney. You are literally one of the world's leading voices on AI usage in business. And it would be remiss of me not to talk about that just for a minute. So how are you feeling with the speed of change right now? How are you coping with that? How are you educating people on that? And what do you see happening next?
Well, I've come to the understanding that there's no such thing as an AI expert because as soon as we started recording, about 30 minutes ago, everything has changed. So
we're already out of date. That's it.
We're all already out of date. And once I came to that understanding, things calmed down a little bit because what would happen for me, I love the research piece. I love when something changes and I can go figure it out, right? And I love sharing it with our community. Like, I love it. And I found myself where I was in a place where I was like, oh my God, this kind of thing. And we have to understand that it is good to get off the internet every once in a while. And if you come back and things have changed, you're going to be okay. If you are not the first person to announce the change, you're going to be okay. Right? And the cool thing is it's going to change again in a couple of days. So you'll have another opportunity to get that little viral boost by being the first person to talk about it.
Nice.
So I do think it's really wild. It's really powerful. I think it's never been more important to have actual foundational strategies behind the scenes. Like today on the internet, I don't know if this was happening everywhere, but there was a big outage. Did you experience that outage today?
Yeah, we had.
You were maybe asleep during part of it, but when the rest of us were awake over here, it was crazy. So I was running the content club call and our whole high level platform was down, but it wasn't just mine. It was all of high level was down. And luckily I am a prepared performer. So I almost always have a backup in place. So the things that I was going to go show them inside the portal, I actually already had in a Google Doc. Recently, ChatGPT made a big change. They're working on some updates behind the scenes. And so they've stopped the ability to make new GPTs. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
It's just been like the past 3 days.
Okay.
And this could have been a problem if those GPTs stopped working. But I back up my source code inside those GPTs. So if I needed to, I could pivot really easily. This is actually where the party bus strategy came up. We were about to do a 5-day challenge on Facebook in like 2016. And Facebook was down for the day. And I had 700 people registered for that challenge. And I was like, what am I going to do? But then I remembered I used a forwarding link in my email. So I had sent them to Facebook, but that forwarding link, I was able to redirect to YouTube. So we moved the whole entire community off of Facebook over to YouTube in just the click of a button because I had that backup in place.
Nice. Yeah. So don't panic that you're not keeping up with things because, as you said, we're already out of date and there'll be another chance. It's just like a soap opera. You can catch up with it on the next episode.
The days of our lives.
And being part of that, always having a backup and keeping your kind of tech stack under control.
And build your own tools. Like we can There's going to be some tools that are obviously like really powerful and really good at the thing that they're good at. Yours, it is amazing and looks like it has like complex things that it's doing in terms of the influencer research and all that it has. But when it comes to like repurposing and when it comes to writing social media and email stuff, you can find a framework that you love and then customize it for yourself.
Mm.
So you can like things like MindPal and other tools like that. I love because it's given our community members so much freedom to know that they don't have to be some crazy AI wizard coder. I can give them a template to get started and then they can customize it. Like Jane has built these amazing tools because she had a framework for starting the process and then you can add AI to it.
What's your own personal favorite tools at the moment, Molly?
Yeah, so I love MindPal. I'm like obsessed with it for building out your own AI agents and connecting them together in a workflow. I love another tool called Base 44. Have you used that?
I have not used that one.
It is so cool. So we've been building out all of
Notepad, writes it down urgently.
Exactly. So we've been building out AI apps within Base 44. We build out onboarding apps for all of our members. We build out like this star task tracker thing that I did. I built that right within Base 44. It's really cool. And yeah. I love Magi because Magi brings all these tools together. So like if you're creating Laura's with AI images and things like that, and you want to make your own AI avatar, Magi makes that super easy. And then you can take one chat and mix between the different LMs inside the one chat, which I think is really great. I think tools like Pika and stuff like that are really fun. Descript we use a lot for video editing. My second choice for video editing would be Submagic because it adds like fun moving emojis across the screen.
Nice. What do you wish AI did that it doesn't do yet?
This is really silly, but can I tell you my one wish?
Please.
And someday I'm going to figure it out. I'm obsessed with GIFs. Oh my gosh, you know what number we should talk about? Side note, we have 260 million views on our Giphy account.
What? Come on. That's a platform I have never even measured.
260 my views? Gosh.
260 million views on your Giphy? What?
Talk about burying the lead, Mahoney. Why did I not think of this? Can I screen share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
For those of you who are listening on the audio, I suggest you absolutely come across and find the video version of this right now, which is on our YouTube channel.
So this is what I want AI to help me with. It's not very like noble, but it's fun.
268 million views.
Right?
On his Giphy account. Oh
it's totally free. You have to have a branded account. And basically, so we're in my backside of my Giphy account right now. You can see my dashboard here. This sticker, is it a sticker on Instagram? It's had 27 million views on my face.
That is cool.
So wild. All of these, like this one did super well, 7 million. It's the weekend. So we optimize for SEO terms. So like if you are in a messenger chat or you're texting someone and you search Molly Mahoney, which I don't think is a main search people do, but all of these, this is my dad, which I think is the funniest thing ever. But all of these GIFs will come up and I can find them easily by searching my own name. But what we've done is we've actually taken these and so like this one, which is like, hello, plug it in, 4 million views of my face saying, plug it in. So when you're here, you see like iPhone, Android, charging, charger. These are all different keywords for this GIF. And then if people come back here, you'll see, oh, good, these were new. They hadn't added these yesterday. So there's like, we optimize for holidays too. So like, see these Mother's Day stickers? We had a huge uptick with Mother's Day just because our little stickers were there for Mother's Day. This I made with, that one disappeared. Here, this one I made with AI. And what I really would love is and I need to figure out how to build it myself, but I want a tool that watches my videos and then finds GIFable moments.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's been difficult. The tools, the AI, the video repurposing tools don't do that.
There'll be Opus Clips or somebody will drop that in.
They'll make that
happen. Wow, that's amazing. That there's a platform that I just watching some of your GIFs there. There's a platform that I just literally had never thought of as being an influencer platform, but you got 268 million views on.
And what happens, like a lot of these are just repurposed for my videos. So if I'm doing videos, right, my team just goes through, it's a little time consuming, but they just go through the videos and grab these little moments and put text over the top of them. I made this one of Perry Belcher at an event. He made this little like fairy wand, and I like, but
Nice.
here's the thing is that people tell me all the time that they've been sent my face. It's a whole other way of infiltrating the personal brand influencer thing. I have
Wow, that's
I
fun.
have an ex-boyfriend who works at Universal Studios, and he told me that on his team they only send pictures of gifs of my face. And I was like, "What?" I said, "Do they
Ultimate
know?" And
revenge. Ultimate revenge.
he said,
All the
"Yeah,
colleagues
someone."
only ever send Molly Mahoney gifts to him. Perfect.
He said someone sent one like not knowing it was me in the chat because they just show up on different keywords. And he said something to the team like, "Oh my gosh, that's my ex-girlfriend." And then they all thought it was so funny that all they do is use my gifts.
I love that. There it is. There's the 200 million views of the 268
Exactly.
right in that work crew. I love it. I love it. So Molly, where do you think let's finish off on this one. As
Yeah.
a futurist, as somebody who is really at the cutting edge of the AI space, where do you think this is going in? What will we see in 6 months time, 12 months time?
Yeah, I think humans are more important than ever. I think if you
I
don't
love that.
figure out what it is that makes you weird, you're going to be swallowed up by all the AI zombies. So
Yep.
we want to use AI to amplify our awesome, not to substitute it. There is already, I think, a movement of people who are, it's pretty easy to spot bad AI content.
Mm.
And so the more that, like, for example, I would never go, right? That if you're not watching the video, you don't know the face I just made, but my AI avatar would have a hard time making this weird face and go down to the microphone. So when you do things that are more authentic, more you,
Yep.
those things, the in-person events, the real true like connection stuff is more important than ever. And the AI stuff is just going to keep getting better and better. So learn it now so that when it becomes super easy, you are even better at it and you're better
Nice.
at spotting it.
Yeah, learn the hard so when it's easy, you can do it in your sleep. Super cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Molly Mahoney. She is an incredible human for a start. She's a tribe leader. She's a world force in getting you and your voice out there into the marketplace. Do go across to the link that she dropped earlier. That's molly.live/IE. Grab her party bus strategy to help you boost your own socials. Embrace your weird. I love that, and get your authentic message out there. And here's to all the creators, Molly. Here's to people who are listening that are wanting to take the same path for themselves.
Yeah. I totally agree. I know you mentioned singing earlier. Can I sing one little thing
Yeah,
for you?
let's go.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I
Rock it
usually do
out.
this like at the beginning and the end, and I've never asked to do this on a podcast, but I feel like it's a little perfect button. So
Love it.
if happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't AI?
I love it.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand up wherever you are, unless you're driving in the car listening to this. In that case, keep standing. But Molly Mahoney, you are pure awesome. I love you. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your message with
Thank
us.
you.
We cannot wait to see where your star is exploding on the horizon. I think it's just getting started for you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your joy with us, and we look forward to keeping in touch.
Thank you. Well, you're awesome.